would you like to introduce yourself, Sneha? So we have Reggie and Nehal here.
Um, okay, I I have been a student of Sri Aurobindo School, and that it has helped. Like it has a very special place in my heart. And currently, I'm working as a palliative physician. Um, so I think that's why it becomes like I thought it's important for me to understand personally also, and with respect to the work that I do, um, how suffering is viewed with respect to integral yoga and philosophy like that. So, yeah, I hope to learn for myself more first and integrate and then probably apply to my practice.
So would you like to also tell about your practice, what you do?
Huh. So, palliative care means taking care of people who are chronically ill, and I work in a cancer hospital, so all of my patients are chronically ill, and some of them are terminally ill. So, like, they are suffering from losses of different kinds: loss of job, loss of role in the society, loss of the role in their family, loss of limb function. So looking at them also reminds me of how fragile life is, and I think it pushes me to acknowledge my own losses, because whenever I see their loss, I'm reminded of something which I have lost or I can lose. So I think it helps me engage a lot with pain and suffering, and I mean, that's one of the reasons I chose it. um, but it's not as deep as I want it to be, because I think I am shielding my heart still. So I think, yeah, this journey with all of you together might help me become less guarded and help me enjoy my practice more. I think. I
Yeah.
mean, that's what I hope and wish for.
Mm, yeah. Thank you so much for sharing. So what shall we do today?
Hmm.
So I thought maybe you have been through assignment, reading material, and we could discuss that. But if you don't want to discuss that, then we can also discuss whatever you are having, or you want to experience, anything that you are experiencing, the questions on the worksheets, or any life situations that you are going through and wondering about in regard to this, anything. So I'm open and willing for whatever you want me to do.
I can also suggest, if we can read a little bit of the reading here in in the group and then
Yes,
discuss.
yes, definitely. Yeah, we can do that. So you want me to go through the reading material week 3 and 4, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Okay.
yeah.
So I can do that briefly, although I would really
Yeah.
so
No,
let
I was suggesting if we can read it, like
yeah,
suppose I read one para and then we
yes,
share what we think about it,
yes,
and
yes,
then
yes.
Regi reads another one. I
Yeah,
don't know, just suggestion.
yeah, we can do that. Yeah, definitely, it's a good idea. So what also I recommend usually is to
Huh.
read these material in your silences. So we'll do it together, plus
Okay.
we'll do it alone when we are all by ourselves, because every time something new comes up. So
Yeah.
Sneha, maybe you can go ahead first and begin.
Yeah. Just a moment.
Yeah,
I assigned it for Sunday, but I didn't complete it.
yeah.
Just a moment. Assigned reading week 3 and 4, pain and suffering.
Hmm.
The crust of the whole problem. It is obvious that what especially characterizes man in this mental capacity of watching himself live is this mental capacity of watching himself live. The animal lives spontaneously, automatically, and if it watches itself live, it must be to very minute and insignificant degree. And that is why it is peaceful and does not worry. Even if an animal is suffering because of an accident or an illness, this suffering is reduced to a minimum by the fact that it does not observe it, does not project it in its consciousness and into the future, does not imagine things about its illness or its accident. With man, there has been this perpetual worrying about what's going to happen. And this worry is the principal, if not sole cause of his torment. With this objectivizing consciousness, there has begun anxiety, painful imaginations, worry, torment, anticipation of future catastrophes, and the result that most men, and not the least conscious, the most conscious, live in perpetual torment. Man is too conscious to be indifferent. He is not conscious enough to know what will happen. Truly, it could be said without fear of making a mistake that all of Earth's creatures, he is the most miserable. The human being is used to being like that because it is an atavistic state which he has inherited from his ancestors. But it is truly a miserable condition. And it is only with this spiritual capacity of rising to a higher level and replacing the animal unconsciousness by a spiritual superconsciousness that there comes into being not only the capacity to see the goal of existence and to foresee the culmination of effort, but also a clear sighted trust in the higher spiritual power to which one can surrender one's whole being, entrust oneself, give the responsibility of one's life and future, and so abandon all worries. Should I stop now or can I read? Should I?
Monica, you're on mute.
Yeah, thank you. So, Sneha, I think it's enough. Would you like to just maybe share a little what you take out of this passage that you read?
Um, in this, the author is trying to analyze the situation of human being and says that we have this memory passed down by our ancestors, and also we are one species which are conscious about what's happening to us. And because we know what's happening to us, we kind of keep thinking, oh, what if it happens again? We keep, projecting on the future and trying to anticipate and trying to escape. So they're saying that it's a very miserable state of being. And the only solution, according to them, is to remove the unconsciousness that animalhood has, that, okay, I don't even know what's happening to me, and to replace it with this super consciousness uh, of, I will be taken care of, or there is a higher intelligence at play, and to really trust and not keep the mind working all the time.
Great, thank you. So, Reggie, maybe you can go next, or Nehal, whoever is ready.
Sure. You want me to go?
I have a question.
Yes, Nehal. Yeah.
Yeah, if like we are into this, no, we are given this by our ancestors, that we are conscious enough to think what will happen next. In a way, it's good. Then only we are progressing. Then why we are suffering?
Okay. Anyone, Sneha or Reggie, would you like to?
Well, I guess that's what's needed for progress. Your suffering is the playground, it's the platform through which you evolve. So if we don't get that's the push we need to evolve. So if we don't get that, we might just take it too easy and not focus on this eventual goal of our evolution. So ancestrally also, if you look at it, we've been evolving from caveman days to now where we're at. And so we've come to a point where we've evolved All my ancestors, where according to Sri Aurobindo and the Mother, we're at that stage where we can now transcend and call down the divinity because we have that ability, is what he's trying to say. And if we look at that pain and suffering as an opportunity to get there, then we'll see it differently.
I'm like getting contradicted. I understand that it's all about evolution and painful incidences are required. But if everything is required, then why are we actually studying the course? Like what are we looking for, which needs to be taken care of in terms of the pain? Are we going in some other direction and not utilizing the pain in the correct way? What we are looking for basically? If like it is so meaningful,
Yeah.
then it has to be accepted and it's over. Then there's nothing left. Then I'm getting
So
confused now.
yes, I think you have the answer right there with you for the confusion. So just like you're asking the question to me or to us, ask this question to yourself again. So just say the question once again and answer as if you are to answer this question because you know the answer.
Oh.
So ask the question again.
So if like this is a useful incident to be in pain for our growth, then nothing is left to be worried about. Then there is no purpose of like looking into pain and suffering and all. So where am I going wrong? It must be that somewhere I'm stuck up and I'm not like
Yes.
using the pain in an appropriate way.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
what could
where
be
are
that
we stuck up?
appropriate way?
Yes, yes. So you have the answer already with you. So you are saying it means that I am not able to use pain and suffering, and somewhere I am stuck up. So where
Yeah.
is that stuck up? What is that stuck up?
Yeah, when I think further, I get blocked. I don't like
Yeah.
see anything. I only
Mhm.
feel that okay, this is it. फिर उसके आगे कुछ नहीं दिखता है.
Okay. So I would say I can answer this question, but I don't want to. I want to keep you
Okay.
hanging because it's nice. It's nice when the answers get revealed to you rather than me just giving you a platter full of answers. Because my answers are my own answers, and I would be really glad to see you getting your own answers in due course of time. Okay, so I think this
Yeah.
question is very important, and you stay with the question as long as required, and you will be getting revelation towards this question very, very soon. You know, yeah,
Yeah.
that would be the answer for you because it's very easy to just give a question answer. It's very easy, and I don't want to make it that easy for you because then it doesn't go
Yeah.
inside the body. Then it's not your experience. It's like my experience, and I'm giving it to you, right? So hold that
Yeah.
question within yourself. Yeah.
One more question. It is saying that leave it to the superconscious and keep trust into the superconscious, and it will do the work. Now, if we are evolving with our consciousness, and if we are not supposed to do anything and only rely on superconsciousness, then why are we given the consciousness?
Okay.
What's the purpose of our
So
being
this I would like
conscious?
to talk about. Yeah. So the problem is that we are separating. The consciousness begins to separate as if there is somebody who is divine and there is rest of the existence. This is the problem. If I tell you there is no me, and if I tell you it's a divine play and you are also that and Reggie is also that and I am also that, so I am playing with myself. I am doing all the suffering with myself. So then you would not ask this question. So the thing is that it's a distorted perception that we have in our mind, a distorted image that we have in our mind that we are something else and we are suffering, suffering, suffering. And then there is some divine who has given us half consciousness and he's kind of, having fun with it. So that is a limited image, that is a distorted image that we are looking at. And when it is said that surrender or, leave things to super conscious, it means that, it means that to know that it is a oneness that is living itself. That kind of a surrender, that I am not suffering. Life is moving on. It's a tapestry. It's like a, a a big cloth which has no separations. So all the movements are happening within that big cloth, and there is no me and the divine. Right? So when they say that surrender, they just mean to say that look at the picture you should be looking at, because you are not looking at the full picture. The full picture is that it's so for example, uh, I don't know how my breath just keeps on going on. I don't know who is running my body, and I say that it's me who is responsible for my life. So this is a very distorted image, because I don't have control even over my breath. So how can I say I am running my life? Because the moment my breath is gone, I am gone. I have no control over it. So the surrender is to that Shakti, that force, which is the very reason of our existence. We will not be alive if not for the force. Right? So there is only that force in existence, and that force in Sri Aurobindo's and mother's terms, we call it the mother, or life force, or Shakti. So Shakti, so when I say that remember the mother or offer to the mother or whatever we discuss, we just mean that we need to acknowledge why we are here. We need to acknowledge that we are not running the life, this image that I am running my life. This is a distorted perception, because I have no control over my breath. So that is what surrender is aiming at, to have a picture which is not distorted, which acknowledges the presence of a higher power holding everything in its own right. Any questions at that?
No.
So Reggie, maybe you can move ahead with the next paragraph.
Sure. Also, just adding to your point, I think that total surrender is very difficult. I think theorizing and intellectualizing this is easy, because everybody now knows we have to surrender. But actually, total, complete surrender is almost unthinkable, which is why we suffer, honestly, because the
Yes.
total surrender is something different, actually, that none of us, we're always struggling to get there.
Yeah. Right. And again, the thing regarding patience comes here, because for example, if you look at mother's prayers and meditations, or her life has been an unfolding. So she took a human birth so that she could show us to the humans that total surrender is possible. And even mother suffered that today my surrender was not complete. She tells us in the prayers and meditation that today there was insincerity in my actions. That kind of a humility, that she is the divine mother, and she is saying, so yes, surrender is very difficult, and that is the fun, that is the joy, because then you are constantly kind of, you are crossing your own thresholds. So yesterday I was not surrendered enough, and today I feel, today I am relaxed, today I am happy, I feel joyous for no reason. So it means today is a better state. And then mother says again that, whenever you feel that you are unhappy, just say to yourself that today my surrender is not complete. So yes, it is a, a difficult path, but then that difficulty brings so much of joy, because it also gives us a lot of opportunity to progress.
Right.
Yeah, it's a never ending path. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's life's journey.
Yeah.
Of course, it is impossible for man to fall back to the level of the animal and lose the consciousness he has acquired. Therefore, for him there is only one means, one way to get out of his condition he is in, which I call a miserable one, and to emerge into a higher state, where worry is replaced by a trusting surrender and the certitude of a luminous culmination. This way is to change the consciousness. Should I read? This is one paragraph. Should I keep reading? Truly speaking, there is no condition more miserable than being responsible for an existence to which one doesn't have the key, that is, of which one doesn't have the threads that can guide and solve the problems. The animal sets itself no problems, it just lives. Its instinct drives it. It relies on the collective consciousness, which has an innate knowledge and is higher than itself. But it is automatic, spontaneous. It has no needs to will to something and make an effort to bring it about. It is quite naturally like that. And as it is not responsible for its life, it does not worry. Why man is born, the sense of having to depend on himself, as he does not have the necessary knowledge, the result is perpetual torment. This torment can come to an end only with total surrender to a higher consciousness than his own, to which he can totally entrust himself, hand over his worries, and leave the care of his guiding life and organizing everything.
Yes. So I would like all three of you to maybe just share whatever you got out of this paragraph, one by
No,
one.
but it is saying that you have to emerge into a higher state. But how you have to emerge? That's the
Yeah.
main thing. That's not there. How you have to emerge?
Yes. Yes. So before how comes whether I want to. So, for example, we can talk about my mountain biking here, and one may just keep on asking how to mountain bike, how to mountain bike. But the thing is that whether you really want to mountain bike, so that is
Okay.
the that is the insincerity one has to root out, because many a times a part of us says that yes, I want to change my life, but many parts within us are not ready.
And how we will check that I'm completely ready or not?
Only you can check that.
This is this is real puzzle.
Yeah. So when you say that I have a mental block, after that I cannot see, that is the
Yeah.
place where you must be. Yeah.
I think only grace works there.
Yes, only grace works, and grace has to be called. Grace has to be invoked, that
So,
mother, I'm not able to see, please help me see. Yeah.
so do you think only prayers can help this get
No,
cleared?
see, prayers definitely will help, because अगर हमारे बस में होता तो अभी तक हमने कर लिया होता. So
Yeah.
and that is why surrender comes into picture, because अगर हमारे हाथ में होता तो we could have been just settled in life, all happy, joyful, everything whatever we want in life. But that is not the case, and it is beautiful that it is not the case, because it is not our highest potential, and we have now been pushed towards our highest potential, which is to be with grace all over of our lives. That is our highest potential, to allow grace in our life. उससे पहले रुकती नहीं है जिंदगी. हाँ.
And is it like this also generates a want that I want to get connected or I want to rise to the higher consciousness? So, is
Yes.
it okay to have that kind of a desire?
Yes. Yes. In the
Or
beginning,
it becomes a
yes.
desire and it's like just a futile desire or you shouldn't desire actually.
See, desire की भी ना qualities होती हैं.
हाँ.
So I can, so mother says that in the beginning it is good that desire for the highest, for example, desire for the divine. In the beginning, it's a beautiful desire. But as we go along the path, even that becomes an obstacle. Because you have to go
Yeah.
naked. If divine has to come in your life, into your life, one has to actually become naked, and nothing should be hidden. Nothing should be kept away from the light uh, at all. So that desire also will be sublimated gradually as you move along the path, but initially it is a better desire than other desires.
Okay.
Yeah. Sneha, would you like to talk about this paragraph?
Yeah, the line that stood up for me was there is no other condition more miserable than being responsible for an existence to which one does not have the key.
Hmm.
Um, you know that you cannot go back, and you know you're the only person who can change situation. But this
Hmm.
fear of something will go bad, something will go
Yeah.
bad, is
Yeah.
haunting. Um,
Yeah.
and you cannot. I mean, human condition also. I think personally I can relate. I know there is grace and it's there right now, but I'm not able to receive it. And
Yeah.
just asking, like what we call prayer, is just asking to make me open so that I can see what is already there.
Hmm.
Um, and I've seen those gaps, which I feel like, when I'm open and then it feels as if it's magical.
Yeah.
I'm in a different state and, my living is in different state. But I agree and I face this, what author is telling that but those are only gaps. And
Hmm. Hmm.
I general feeling is not having the key, and the aspiration to have a key
Hmm.
um, is, I think, is what why I'm here. Reggie is here, Snehal is here, because
Yes.
she asked, then why are we doing this course? We are doing this course
Yes.
to increase those gaps and
Yes.
the key. um
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, so I think you said it very beautifully. So one thing you said, which really kind of make me stand there with that line, you said that I know that grace is there, and just that I am not able to receive it at times.
Hmm.
Just go deeper into this thing.
Hmm. Now verbally.
Yes, verbally or feeling in the body, and just letting us know what you are feeling.
That I know grace is there, but I am not able to receive it.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
I'm not able to receive it because I'm not present many a times.
Mm-hmm.
Not able to receive it because I'm just grieving in my mind many a times of what has
Mm,
happened or what will happen or how its life has been unfair. I'm actually
mm,
not present. Mm.
mm,
And not only not present, but I'm adding the quality of grief and worry to the present
mm,
moment.
mm, mm,
I think that is why I'm not able to receive the grace.
mm. And
Mm.
also, I think just this thought that I am not able to receive the grace also becomes a building. It's like you are putting one more eat in the wall between
Mm.
you and grace. That I am
Yeah.
not able to receive the grace. So आप धीरे धीरे करके खुद ही वो wall बना रहे हैं हम. Imagine. So there is grace present all around. That is a surety that I know. Yes,
Mm.
Sneha?
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
slowly I am as if like I am building a wall between myself and grace.
I
Mm.
This
think this
is
is
a
very
beauty.
tricky. This is very tricky. One has to be so much alert all the while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alert, yeah. Being alert is the key. Even Kabir has said a lot about alertness, being on vigilance all the time. And he
Mm.
says that these things who take the grace away, so called, they are the robbers, they are the thieves. And they come through our senses, what we see, what we feel, what we think. All these things take us away from the grace. And mother says that I never go away. The grace never goes away. Mother says, you run away.
Mm.
Mother is standing there, and then I am just running away from the mother and just thinking, why is grace not there, why is grace not there? Yeah, I only left because I felt thinking of the future was not more important. I felt grieving was more important. I felt
Mm.
thinking of worrying about all that was so important, and that just took me away from the mother in a second. So, and in a second, one can come back if one really aspires. So, aspiration is the key. If I really want to be with the grace, to be with the mother, then no one can stop me. It's only that many a times due to many things that this human being has inside of its own being, we are just taken away. We are kind of robbed of grace. And it's totally in our hands that we come back to mother's pallu and don't leave it. It's totally up to us. And slowly we can, slowly we can increase these periods where we feel grace more and more. Slowly we can increase it. But again, it's a very slow process, but it can be very fast as well, because as Vivekananda wanted to see God, you remember that story? And I don't
Mm.
remember who exactly was it who put his neck into the water. I think it was Ramakrishna Paramahansa. So he went to Vivekananda wanted to see God, and he went to Ramakrishna and he said, I want to see God. I have heard that you have seen God, so show me, show me the God. And he took his neck and put it into the water, and he kind of suffocated for breath, and he was tadpoing, and he said, like this, when you want God, then you will get God.
Mm.
So, that kind of aspiration, that I want nothing but divine presence to rule my life. So, Sneha, are you with us?
Yeah, Monica, it generated one more thought, like
Yes,
reflection about my own thing.
yes,
That even the capacity to hold, okay, there is gap when I'm, totally open and I'm letting life inside
yeah,
my life.
yeah,
The ability to tolerate also has to be expanded and can be expanded. Like I have seen that it happens only gradually. Okay, today I can be for like say half an hour, or I can be present for that much time. I can be open for
yes,
that much time. But to
yes,
hold that amount of whatever is coming,
yes.
takes some adjustment, I think. Like, sometimes it's too
Uh,
much.
See, holding would be necessary if someone is there. I am
Hmm.
saying nothing is there, only grace is there. Then nobody has to hold now.
Whoa, that's like, yeah.
So I am reducing your task. So there are
That
few moments when,
obliterating myself.
yeah, when there are few moments when Sneha is not existent. There are a few moments, and then grace works. So
Hmm.
people would say Sneha is working, but grace will be working, right? Then Sneha doesn't have to hold anything.
Hmm.
And then there are a few moments when Sneha remembers those moments when grace was working through us. And
Hmm.
and then she wants to hold that moment because that was a beautiful moment.
Hmm.
So this past and future, when it comes to picture, then it makes us anxious because we want to then hold something. There is no need to hold, because when grace is functioning, your worries are gone. You don't have to worry at all.
Hmm.
So all I have to do is to sublimate slowly.
Yeah, I think that's why they say you have become the instrument to the God. So then God works through you.
Yes, and there is no you left, only God is working. So
Yeah.
then you don't even need to hold that grace within you, because that's what Sneha was talking. Because sometimes I am able to hold, or sometimes I'm not able to hold. Hold की तो बात ही तभी आएगी ना जब कोई होगा. जब कोई होगा ही नहीं तो hold की बात ही नहीं है. So you are free of worries. So that kind of a state, Sneha, and it is possible to have these moments in life and to also expand. But it again depends on my willingness to let myself go away, let myself dissolve. Only
Yeah.
in my hands. Yeah,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah.
But what if, like, you understand that for allowing the grace to be there or to feel the presence of the grace, you need to be present. So you understand everything, but you're not able to let
You need
go
to
of.
be absent, Nehal, not present.
I mean, present in now, present in now,
कुछ नहीं चाहिए now
not
पर
anywhere
भी.
else.
You just not need to be there. आपकी जरूरत ही नहीं है. आपको मैं मुक्ति दे रही हूँ आपकी लाइफ से.
Okay, but
Nehal
like
is not
not
needed.
in the future, not in the past, but you have to be somewhere
No,
to allow the grace to come in.
grace is already there. You are becoming a block in front of it. So I am
Okay.
saying that Nehal doesn't even need to be there.
Okay.
So all that thing that we say, I have to do a lot of self work, that puts us more into ego.
Okay.
Because I'm saying that I have to do. No, I am changing myself. So that becomes even a bigger block.
Okay.
So our task is to see whatever is coming in front of grace, as if, imagine that Ganga is flowing. Anything that comes in front of Ganga would just become an obstacle in front of Ganga. You cannot say that it will help the river flow. The river is flowing. So
Yeah.
the grace is mightily flowing. We are just not able to sense it through our own senses. The grace is mightily flowing. We are becoming dams and walls and blocks in front of that grace. Because we want to have a life which is going my way. We want to have a life which is like, कुछ लोग बोले कि कुछ है. तो उससे हम धीरे
Yeah.
धीरे उसे that is the divar, that is the wall that we bring in front of that grace. So our task is actually really very, very easy. We just have to bow down and let the river flow over us.
Yeah.
तो अब कोई जरूरत ही नहीं है कोर्स की. I'll tell Saka, we thought it was a 16 week, just enough, 2 weeks were enough.
You
भूल
can
जाते हैं ना,
you can tell
learnings
them.
भूल जाते हैं.
Yeah, Reggie.
I was saying you can tell them you broke open the dams of the flood, let the river flow. Now you can't stop it.
Now there are no students left.
They've gone with the river. They're flowing with them.
They're all gone. Yeah.
And the flow. Uh, this so another thing that comes to mind from the paragraph is, and for me especially because I like drawing parallels with
Yes.
animals, because I think animals are very instinctive. They don't think like us. That's a drawback. They can't maybe evolve. They can only evolve to a certain point, but they are far more instinctive and free than us. And a good example is like a dog. And I've grown up with dogs around me. Now, a dog you'll hardly ever see, especially street dogs, you'll hardly ever see a street dog eating food that's not natural to its existence. They don't like this packaged processed food. They'll only eat food that they can digest, and they can know that just by sniffing it once. They don't need another sign. Even if and my mother's an activist, so I follow suit. Even if the dog is starving, they won't eat something that's not natural to them.
Right.
They just won't eat. Even if and they can sense your energy. So if you're coming next to them and they know you're not a very friendly person or you don't like animals, they stay away from you. So
Yes.
you see, they avoid confrontation and trouble because they naturally guess and instinctively know what's not right for them.
Yes.
Then they don't think that much. We are always thinking, "ये करूँ वो करूँ." They're like, "नहीं, ये ठीक नहीं, ये सही है," because it's just
Yes.
it does. It's a split second. They don't put so much thought into that. That's why a comparison, a parallel is very important. This whole passage is about that, and I think that's very important to see. Even the consciousness in an animal is so pure. So all we have to do is kind of go back to that consciousness and relate
Yes.
to that instinct, which tells you what to do, and that's it. Monica is right. After that, you're free. You don't need any course, maybe, but you once you come in touch with that, you start seeing that as a pattern develop, because it's a very spontaneous, thoughtless process actually of just going with the flow, like they say. So
Yes.
this drawing a parallel with an animal is very apt, I feel.
Yes. I think it's Bulle Shah has said in one of his poems or songs, "Bazi le gaye kutte." So he says even a dog is much, much better than us because he is in faith, in oblivion. he doesn't even know that he's in so much of faith and surrender regarding his instincts, and also, regarding life. For a dog, if he falls ill, he doesn't have all these thoughts like we have, why me? Why does this happen to me? Kya bure karam kare honge maine? All these. He just goes through it in faith. So yes, definitely, and I think that's a lesson to learn, because we are as much as a part of nature as animals are and as flowers are. And mother has also said a lot about animals and flowers. If you are interested, you can read. And the thing that is with us humans, that we have been given mind, vital and physical, as instruments of the working of the divine grace. And that is how, when Sri Aurobindo is saying here, that obviously we cannot be as unconscious as an animal is, but definitely as instinctive as an animal is, we can be there. We can learn from him, we can get inspiration from the animal, and then we can also use this instinct when one is working as an instrument, or when the divine grace is flowing, because then instincts are very, very operational, because then you are not into the past or future, just like an animal is. He's not into past or future, he's very instinctive. He knows, this call I have to take, this call I don't have to take. So you become like an animal, but a kind of, a animal different from a regular animal, because he's special and we are special too. So yes, it's a very important lesson, this instinctiveness. Yeah. And it's also because of the purity of that animal. The consciousness is so pure, it's not mixed with, all thoughts about me and my life and, my friends, all these things that we mix up with. So whatever is very, very instinctive and very, very natural. He doesn't feel ashamed if he's, if he's in nature, he's doing something, if he doesn't feel ashamed of it. It's the animal, it's the human animal that start to feel ashamed of itself. So yes, many, many lessons from animals. Yeah. So Nehal, would you like to go ahead?
Yeah. So the next paragraph says, how can a problem be solved when one doesn't have the necessary knowledge? And the unfortunate thing is that man believes that he has to resolve all the problems of his life, and he does not have the knowledge needed to do it. That is the source, the origin of all his troubles, that perpetual question, what should I do? Just a minute, I just lost my paragraph. Okay. Which is followed by another one, still more acute. What is going to happen? And at the same time, more or less, the inability to answer. At this paragraph, I feel like laughing at me. I feel this is what I'm doing all the while.
Yeah. Yeah, very
So that
important
is
paragraph.
why, yeah, and that is why the spiritual disciplines begin with the necessity of surrendering all responsibility and relying on a higher principle. Otherwise, peace is impossible. I think this is very apt.
Yeah,
Should I
let's
continue?
just stay here with this, and we'll take any
Yeah.
questions or anything coming up. Sneha or Reggie or Nehal.
When I'm reading all these paragraphs, I feel that no, being because my background is science and we are always asked to question why this, when, why you want to do this and all. I think that circuit and pattern at times is very, very difficult to break in spiritual discipline. So maybe that's also a
No, but
hindrance.
no, I think it's very, very good to question, because then you are clear that you are not clear about certain things. So I don't
Okay.
think that becomes a hindrance, that even gives you more clarity, because your question is helping three more of us. So
Hmm.
questioning is important unless you really hit the ground. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see it like an extension of what you discussed previously, Monica, about there is no like try. Sneha is only not there. So they're trying, I mean, I think that they're trying to say the same thing, that the
Yes.
question, what should I do? And
Yes.
that is causing the problem. Um,
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, totally. It's there only. So it's like a wall that I am creating. So the mighty river is flowing, and it has just no concern whatever for whatsoever for whatever comes on its way. But what I am busy with is creating that wall. What should I do? What should I do to help the river, to help the grace flow? So grace is flowing. Let it flow, and you flow with it. So exactly, all the worries are actually we can laugh about them, and that is the beauty, because that suffering that appears such big and huge at an instance can be laughed off. That is the beauty of this divinity. That at one moment I will be just very busy building that wall and thinking that it is so important, and in the other moment I am realizing as if I have become something really separate from the wall, and I am able to see my futility. And there comes a surrender, there comes the grace in its full action. Yeah.
And I think it is giving you the freedom that you were saying, that कुछ करना ही नहीं है. सब कुछ भी नहीं करना है, बहुत सोचने की जरूरत नहीं है. So the
Exactly.
paragraph like puts an endorsement that you are free, you don't have to do anything.
Yes,
Let the
yes.
grace do whatever it has to do, just be there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would say go ahead if no more questions further.
Okay,
Shall I?
so
Okay,
okay, you
sorry.
may read. It's okay.
Okay. Um, and yet, consciousness has been given to man so that he can progress, can discover what he doesn't know, develop into what he has not yet become. And so it may be said that there is a higher state than that of an immobile and static peace. It is a trust total enough for one to keep the will to progress, to persevere the effort for progress while ridding it of all anxiety, all care for results and consequences. This is the one step ahead of methods which may be called quietist, which are founded on the rejection of all activity and plunging into immobility and inner silence, which forsake all life because it has been suddenly felt that without peace one can't have any inner realization, and quite naturally one thought that one couldn't have peace so long as one was living in outer conditions, in the state of anxiety in which problems are set and cannot be solved, for one does not have the knowledge to do so.
So let's stay here with this, and yeah, maybe Sneha, you can finish this. I think 4 5 lines, and then we are done. Yeah.
Yeah. The next step is to face the problem, but with calm and certitude of an absolute trust in the supreme power which knows and can make you act. And then, instead of abandoning action, one can act in higher peace that is strong and dynamic. This is what could be called a new aspect of divine intervention in life, a new form of intervention of divine forces in existence, a new aspect of spiritual realization.
Yeah. So any thoughts on this? Anybody?
I think it's very interesting. And I think by the time of the actual course ends, I am really going to resolve many things out.
Okay.
The more
The
we are
nice
reading,
thought.
the more understanding is opening.
Yes, yes.
It's as if this paper is answering Snehal's question. Like she
Yeah,
asked
yeah.
before that, okay, then why is there consciousness only? So that
Hmm.
there can still be that progress, still be that aspiration, but know that knowing is also there, like an umbrella.
Yeah, yeah. And that progress is now a joyful progress, because it's you are doing it with all your surrender, and that you really want to improve this, and you really want to make it really nice and nice and nice and nice. So there is no anxiety in that progress, because you know that the everything is happening in grace only. So that's absolute faith, Absolute faith is there, so absolute calm is also there. He's saying the next step is to face the problem, but with calm and certitude. The calm and certitude can come only if I know that I am not functioning. It's grace that making it happen, and then I can also help grace that, this patthar like material, this stone like material, which is me, now how to make this only supple. So I am now completely taking the energy from the grace to make myself more supple, more open, more an instrument of the consciousness of the grace. And this calm and certitude can only come if one is progressing in surrender, because that is what we lack. So we want to progress, but there is a lot of anxiety regarding progress. Am I progressing or not? That person is progressing, better than me. Why is this happening? All this anxiety. So when we are progressing in surrender, then all this is not there, because then the psychic being becomes naturally in the front, because psychic being wants to surrender and it is ready to move its life according to the grace, and it comes naturally. So one doesn't even have to go after the psychic being ki bhaiya kahan hai batao mujhe, I want to search for it. So it just, because you have now taken a right attitude, and that right attitude takes you directly towards the psychic being, that servant of the divine.
Wow, I think this makes my day. It's good to discuss.
Yeah. So anything else coming from this? One thing I want to mention here. So यहाँ पे, so it's mentioned here. This is one step ahead of the methods which may be called quietist, which are found on the rejection of all activity and plunging into immobility and inner silence. So this may happen on this path of, that we have taken. So there is a witness purusha in us, the sakshi bhav, the one who is observing. So many a times it may happen in our life that we only operate from the witness, and we absolutely are sucked in that witness state, so that we are not active in life as such. And that is what integral yoga of the mother and Sri Aurobindo is not. It's not a witnessing yoga, that just put a mudra and close your eyes and you are gone in that witness or sakshi bhav. This integral yoga is a very, very active yoga, because you are at the same time as I am accepting grace and surrender in my life, I am also allowing actively the grace to change my life. I am collaborating with grace, so that, that is a very, very active process. I am taking up even more challenges in life, because I know that grace is with me, so I'll be shown the way. So I'm ready to perfect this instrument of mind, vital emotions, my feelings, my body, the suppleness that is needed in the mind, the higher regions of the mind that needs to be open. I'm allowing it to happen. And that does not happen when one is just witnessing. So that is what is mentioned here, that it's a different kind of a yoga. It's one step ahead from those yogas. Yeah. So I think we have discussed enough for today. I would say that we have enough richness for us to kind of immerse in. And you can all go through the next of the stuff whenever you want, and we can again, next time if needed, we can discuss it. Because all this material is very dense. So even one paragraph gives us a lot of insight and, things to ruminate upon. What do you think, Sneha? Is it
Yeah, I
okay?
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I found it very useful,
Yeah.
today's call. So I'm hoping, like, from next time, I'll make sure I make proper arrangements to be here.
Yeah, that would be really nice, because, all of us, whenever a question comes from any one of us, all of us really enjoy it, and it becomes useful for us too. So it's good that more of us join and bring their own perspective in the picture. Yeah. So then good luck for rest of the reading. And if any question arise in between, you can always mail and get in touch over WhatsApp. And yes, we'll see then next week on Friday again each other.
Surely, surely.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Peggy. Thank you, Snehal. Thank you,
Goodbye.
Monica.
Bye.
Thank you guys. Thank you,
Thank
Monica.
you, Sneh. Thank you,
Bye.
Nehal.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Nehal. Monica, I was thinking this is a